Alright, so all praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I'm still learning this truth. And shalom to the other sincere followers of this truth. Alright, so today is going to be a reading, okay, in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, in the Good News translation. All right. So just as in previous videos, I want to warn, or not warn you, but to give notice that the King James, all right, is the closest translation to the Hebrew. That does not mean, well, the key word being closest. All right. So that does not mean that the King James cannot go off. The King James can go off. All right. Also, the NLT can go off, and also this Good News translation can go off. Okay? So unless you have a foundation, unless you are settled and well-rooted, well-planted, is a better word to use, well-planted by the Almighty Yahweh, which Yahweh is the name of the Almighty, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Messiah, the only begotten Son. All right, no other names do these two go by. All right, just Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the Almighty. Yahweh Shai is his only begotten Son. All right. Okay, so planted by, if you're not well planted by Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, these translations, including the King James, can throw you off in certain instances, which is why the Lord told us to study. He told us to read, all right? And you have to listen. He points to having ears to hear, all right? That is important also. You have to listen. And you cannot do that with your mouth, all right? Actually, most of the things that you have to do to get a hold of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is to not use your mouth. The one thing you use your mouth for is to relay the things that you learn, that you know as truth. All right. So to point that out, I do want to start in the Apocrypha. All right. It's in the prologue of Ecclesiasticus. It's a book called Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right. Which the Apocrypha, if you are of the remnant, all right, you know that the Apocrypha, the Old Testament, and the New Testament are just one testament. All three are one testament, and it testifies of Yahweh Shai through, in the name of his father Yahweh. Okay, one testament. When it was written on them scrolls, it was one testament. All right. Today we receive it as, some people say they only believe in the old. Some people say they only believe in the new. Some people most people don't even know about the Apocrypha or believe in the Apocrypha, all right? Think that it's biblical, but it is, all right? Or canon, as this world uses, okay? But it's all one testament, all right? So in the Apocrypha, the prologue I'm going to read from is in the book of Ecclesiasticus, all right? It's also known as the book of Sirach, all right? And you can see that in the Good News translation. And let me show you. And it's going to come out backwards on this screen, but you'll see what I'm talking about here. Let me see. All right, as you can see right here, Sirach, all right, but also you can see down here Ecclesiasticus. can't really tell if you're seeing that, but it's backwards and it's a little blurry, all right? That was in the good news. And in the Apocrypha itself, you see it says Ecclesiasticus, but right here it says Sirach, all right? So I'm going to read from the prologue. I'm not going to read the whole prologue. You can do that, all right? I'm just going to go straight to the point, all right? So in the King James Version Apocrypha, in the book of Ecclesiasticus, it reads, "Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language." All right, that was in the King James. And it's pointing to, you have to do your research. You can't be in this American mind state and think you read something in English and you get the understanding of it. Do not let this American pride, all right, get you fucked up and steer you away from wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the remnant are not going to do that, all right? This is what this message is for the remnant anyway. But if you are new, all right, and possibly of the remnant, just take this as a good advice and study to go into these words. The English is just a covering, all right? You have to go deeper, okay? You have to get the etymology of the words. So if you're in the Old Testament, you have to go back to what did that word mean in the Hebrew? What word did they translate from the Hebrew to the English? All right? Go back to that Hebrew word and figure out what they meant. See what they meant, all right? And in the New Testament, you want to go back to those Greek words, all right? So you can't just read this thing in English and think you have the gist of what's trying to be, the gist of what's coming through, okay? You cannot do that. And if you are of the remnant, you won't do that, okay? You'll go a little bit deeper in your studies. So this is a good news translation of what I just read right there in the King James, all right? This is the prologue, or the foreword, okay, of in the book of Sirach, all right? It says, "Let me urge you then to read this book carefully and with an open mind, and be patient in those places where, in spite of all my diligent efforts, I may not have translated some phrases very well. What was originally written in Hebrew does not always have exactly the same sense when it is translated into another language. That is true not only of this book, but even of the law itself, the prophets, and the other books. The translation differ quite a bit from the original." All right, so go in to these other languages. All right, go into the Hebrew, go into the Greek. All right, so now we're going to read the Good News translation of, oh, and I mentioned being in an American mind state and thinking that you can read this in English and that you get it because you think that English rules it all right? That you can get the understanding from English. If you think back to when we were called Gentiles, all right? Which there are two different types of Gentiles in the Bible, all right? In the scriptures, okay? All right, there's two different types of Gentiles in the scriptures. There are Gentiles, and then there are Israelites known as Gentiles because of being in a Gentile state of mind. So if you are in America and you have this American pride on you, you're going to read these scriptures in English And you're going to think that that's the end all be all, that you can get all understanding yourself, for one, and you're going to think you can get all the understanding through the English. That's not the way it goes. And that's why you are called an American. All right. If the scriptures would have went on to today, right, which they do prophesy and they do talk about today, but if it was to use today's language, you would be labeled an American, not an Israelite, because you are an American state of mind. All right. Now you can see now why we were called Gentiles if you go by that definition that I just said right there, by that example. So we were called Gentiles because we were in a Gentile state of mind. All right, get out of that state of mind. Come out of that state of mind. All right, put your Israelite skin back on. Put your Israelite brains back in, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding back on you, the Israelite. All right, and come back into these scriptures and start studying, reading. Okay, I think that's a good example of Gentile state of mind, American state of mind, and being in your right state of mind versus being in your right state of mind, which is being an Israelite, all right, and Hebrew Israelite. Okay, you're not a black Hebrew Israelite. You're not a Mexican Hebrew Israelite. You're not an Indian Hebrew Israelite. All right, you're not a Chinese Hebrew Israelite. You're a Hebrew Israelite. All right, and we look like all nations. That's why I said Chinese, Mexican, Indian, black. We're not those things. Okay, we look like those things, but the Spirit beareth witness to who you are. Okay, this thing is serious. Come back to it while you still have time. And at the time of this recording, the doors are still open. I think. I think the doors are still open. All right, I'm pretty sure it is, but do your studies and come back to this, man. All right, Lord willing. All right. So now let's get to the reading. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. And this is why I'm doing this reading. All right. In the last series that I did, breaking down cunningly devised fables, I think it was. All right, sorry about that. The reason why I'm reading this is because we were doing a series called Breaking Down. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try and find what that was. Yeah, breaking down cunningly devised fables. All right. That's the reason we're doing this. So within that series, all right, we touched on this right here. All right. Touched on breaking down these cunningly devised fables. And we got to a point where we realized that we fell from calling on the real names of our power. Okay. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right. We learned and went after Islam, Christianity, Black Power, Egyptology, and all sorts of madness, depending on what nations surround you or what nation you came up in. All right. So we were given into the hands of our enemies, all right, which are ruling over us right now. Okay. So in Deuteronomy 28, or with Deuteronomy 28, we this helps us understand whom the true Israelites are, and that's why we are reading Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. All right. The previous two readings were the NLT, all right, the New Living Translation, and then before that, previous to that, was the King James Version. All right. On this channel, I usually go into the NLT and the GNT. Okay. With the main hope being is that you have enough base foundation to either start realizing quickly or realize that you do need a foundation, because these translations, okay, with one word, okay, can throw you off, or with one perception of one word can throw you off. All right, get your foundation, okay? The scriptures are in the whole world, okay? They are in the whole world, but the gospel is for Israel only, true Israel, all right? And Deuteronomy, and like I said, Deuteronomy 28 is going to show a clue, a big clue, and point to whom those true Israelites are, all right? So let's go ahead and get it. Let's go. Deuteronomy 28 in the Good News translation, all right? All right, hold on. I need to get something to drink before we start. Just give me a quick second. Hold on. All right. So this is Deuteronomy 28th chapter in the Good News translation. Okay. And it reads, the heading is blessings of obedience. All right. And before I get started right now, it's pointing me towards, or it's giving me some precepts. All right. So let me go back and see what this says. Leviticus 26, 3 through 13. Actually, let me do this on the old technology. Let's see. Leviticus 26, 3 through 13. So I'm going to do a reading of this really quick. Leviticus 26, 3 through 13. I'm going to read these out of the King James Version, all right? It says, if ye walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and in the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. Damn. And ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. That just spanned a bunch of time right there. And I understand more than I can express, but if you are advanced in this thing, okay, even more so than I'd like your input on what I just said there. That just spanned a lot of time from beginning to the kingdom, all right? That verse 5 of Leviticus 26. As a matter of fact, verse 4 and 5. So, okay, verse 6 in Leviticus 26 and 6. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid, and I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, all right, Yahweh, which bought you, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, all right, which bought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright. Wow. All right. Let me see. What else did it give us? Okay. Let's go now to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 12 through 24. It says promises of God. All right. It says, verse 12, it says, wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them. That's for all them people saying that the law is done away with. All right. Keep and do them. That the Lord thy God, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right, shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. All right. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. All people. Okay. There shall not be male nor female barren among you or among your cattle. And the Lord will take, the Lord Yahweh, all right, will take away from thee all sickness and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt which thou knowest upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. So if everyone is all equal, right? Who are these people that it's talking about when it said, thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare upon thee. Who are those people? All right. Anyway, verse 17. If thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispose them, right? Dispossess them, right? Verse 18, thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. All right. And that's where we are now. We are not fearing these people. All right. Verse 19, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs, and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornet among them until they that are left and hide themselves from thee are destroyed. Name. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them all at once, or that way. Thou mayest not consume them at once, there it is, lest the beast of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. All right. So who is it talking about there if the Lord loves everyone? Who is it talking about the Israelites destroying? thought everything was equal. Thought he loved everybody. I thought he was all love. So is that not speaking of the Almighty? Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai? Who is he destroying? That's just a question for you people who think that the Lord is all love for one, that he loves everyone for two. Who? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not really trying to understand your guys' thinking. Just know that we were warned of you. Okay? We are warned of you also. So let's go ahead and go to now the reading. All right? This is Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter in the Good News Translation, with the heading being Blessings of Obedience. All right? And it's going to change midway through. Not even midway through. Because this is not the road that we took right here, all right? This is coming, but this is not the road that we took. We took the latter road, all right? The road that leads to death. But anyway, verse 1 is, if you obey the Lord your God and faithfully keep all his commands that I am giving you today, he will make you greater than any other nation on earth. Obey the Lord your God, and all these blessings will be yours. The Lord will bless your towns and your fields. The Lord will bless you with many children, with abundant crops, and with many cattle and sheep. The Lord will bless your grain crops and the food you prepare for them, or from them, excuse me. The Lord will bless everything you do. The Lord will defeat your enemies when they attack you. They will attack from one direction, but they will run from you in all directions. The Lord your God will bless your work and fill your barns with grain. He will bless your land that he is giving you. If you obey the Lord your God and do everything he commands, he will make you his own people, as he has promised. Then all the peoples on earth will see that the Lord has chosen you to be his own people, and they will be afraid of you. The Lord will give you many children, many cattle, and abundant crops in the land that he promised your ancestors to give you. He will send rain in season from his rich storehouse in the sky and bless all your work, so that you will lend to many nations, but you will not have to borrow from any. The Lord your God will make you the leader among the nations and not a follower. You will always prosper and never fail if you obey faithfully all his commands that I am giving you today. But you must never disobey them in any way or worship and serve other gods. All right. I just want you to look at this. Look at the sky real quick. Let me make sure it shows this. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know how this works. Let me see. Give me a second again. Hold on. Actually, I'll just take you outside with me for a second. I just want to see how beautiful it is out here, even with clouds in the sky. It's beautiful, man. All right. Let me get out the camera for a second. I can't even see it. Look at the sky, though, man. All these clouds, but still beautiful. Right? Anyway, let me go on back in here. I don't even know if you can see that. I hope so. All right. Now, here it is. This is the road that us being sawdust children, blind children, deaf children, disobedient children, stiff-necked children, hard-hearted children, And then, really, to sum it up, we were called by these other nations' names, which is even more low. I mean, it fits those um, uh, adjectives of us. All right, being these other nations, we are Israelites, man. We are a nation of kings and priests, and that's going to be realized in this coming age. All right, okay. But speaking of the road that we choose, because we are all those other things, sottish, all right, stupid is what sottish means, all right? We chose this road right here, okay? This is still Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, all right? This is starting at verse 15 now. The heading above 15 says, the consequences of disobedience, all right? I kind of want to change the view and get into some more light, but I'll just leave it here. So let's go into King James really quick to some precepts, all right? The consequences of disobedience. I'm going to go back to Leviticus 26th chapter, 14th verse. This is going to be a lot of reading for you people that, I don't know. I guess if you are on this channel, you already know what to expect. It's not really an entertaining channel, all right? There's a lot of reading. So Leviticus 26, and we're going to start at 14 and read all the way down, okay? So the heading in Leviticus 26, starting at verse 14, is penalties of disobedience. All right, this is a King James I'm going to read through real quick. Leviticus 26 and 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, keep listening to the people tell you that the law is done away with. All right, you fit right in. You fit right in there. And if ye shall despise my statutes, keep fitting right in with them people, all right? Or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning egg. Let's see what that is. It's AGUE. Let's see what that word is really quick. All right. It says a fever or shivering fit. All right. Yeah, that's what it says. It says a fever or shivering fit. What is another word for egg? Let me see. Sharp fever. Simple definition of egg. It says a guy, whatever. How do you? A guy. A guy. I don't know. It says a fever such as malaria, marked by paroxysms. All right. It says of chills, fever, and sweating that recur at a regular interval. All right. Let's see what this says. What does a guy mean in the Bible? It says fever. All right. It says the Hebrew word kada'ath, meaning kindling or a inflammatory or burning fever. So hey, he said he's gonna point that over you, man. You keep taking these motherfuckers' advice and not listening to the real men of the Lord, man. Keep it up. Keep it up, because you were meant to keep it up as an example. You are an example. All you people who think the laws are done away with. All right? It trips me out, man. People want to do these things that are bad for them. None of these laws are bad for you, and you just want to fight against them. That it trips me out. At the same time, it doesn't though, because I used to be in that same mind state before I heard the truth. All right, now that I hear the truth, I'm not in that mind state anymore. Okay, I do these things to the best of my ability because that's what we are commanded to do. All right, so let me see. Where were we? I'll start Leviticus 16 again. Leviticus 26 and 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning agay, right? That shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. That they hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. And if ye shall not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. Yo, this he pointing the finger right at Israel, and more so right at you 2/3. All right. Verse 19, and I will break the pride of your power. Who is your power? Your power is Pharaoh. Your power is this nation that we're in now. Your power are their laws, statutes, and commandments. You don't even consider the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, all right? But he's going to break your power, all right? Verse 19, Leviticus 26 and 19, and I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass, and your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. So when bad shit happens, after you've ignored or disregarded what the men of the Lord have told you, you still have the nerve to ask why. And even if the Lord puts you on your feet again, you go right back to you return to your vomit, all right, just like a dog. You return to the ways that got you in the position that you were in before the Lord stood you back up. And then again, you'll ask why, all the way up until the day of the Lord, all right? You're going to be in the middle of melting, asking why. But don't worry. When you get born back into the kingdom, you'll be straight. Leviticus 26 and 22. After that terrible pain, you're going to burn. You're going to melt. Melt, man. Not just incinerate and burn up and poof, you gone. I'm talking about you going to melt. Slow. That slow burn. Leviticus 26 and 22. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. And if ye will not be reformed by me, by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. All right. Verse 25. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send the pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered unto the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. Damn. And if ye will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury. And I, even I, will chasten you 7 times for your sins. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols. Damn. And my soul shall abhor you. Man, that don't sound like no lovey-dovey shit that y'all earthlings talking about, man. That's harsh right there, man. Verse 31, and I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And that's how they look at us now, man. But especially you 2/3. The enemies look at y'all like, damn, y'all in a bad case. Leviticus 26 and 33. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. Damn. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee, as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursueth. And they shall fall one upon another, as it were before a sword, when none pursueth. And ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. Verse 38. And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despised my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet, for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. All right, just like your father, your earthly father, punishes you, but not to kill you. All right, he doesn't punish you to forget that you are his son. Okay, all right, he's not going to forget that, but he is going to punish you. Okay, Leviticus 26 and 45. All right. But I will forsake, but I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. All right. So now let's get on with the rest of let's take a journey down this path that we still walking today, especially you 2/3. All right. And this is a path that we are going to continue to walk until the Lord comes back. All right. As a matter of fact, because of what I just said, I got to read this. This is Revelation 22, 10, and 11. All right. And the heading above 10 says, the final message. This is the King James. The reason I'm reading this is because it was brought to mind by what I just said about this is the road. This is the path that we are going to walk until the Lord returns, right? Now listen to this. I mean all of us. The final message, all right? Revelation 22 and 10, it says, and he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Verse 11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. All right, let me read that in the NLT. Revelation 22 and 10 and 11, all right? It says, then he instructed me, do not seal up the prophetic words in this book, for the time is near. Let the one who is doing harm continue to do harm. Let the one who is vile continue to be vile. Let the one who is righteous continue to live righteously. Let the one who is holy continue to be holy. So whatever path you on is the path that the Lord put you on. And in this book of the law, right, are clues to what path you are on. All right. So if you are running around here, if you are scurrying about here trying to cover yourself in lies or the beliefs of this world, or cover yourselves like Adam and Eve did, all right, in the beginning, before Adam learned obedience, right, you are going to stay on that path if you are not learning obedience, just like Adam had to do, okay? And Adam was saved out of his fall, but that's something a little bit more deeper than surface, all right? But you are going to continue to walk that path because you are hard-hearted, okay? All right? Sottish, rebellious. You're a heathen. You are a Gentile. You are an American. You are prideful, okay? In your mind state, you are not an Israelite of the mind, all right? That's what I'm saying. If you are acting like these other nations that surround you, okay? So if you don't repent and return, all right? Do these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Start calling on the correct names, Yahweh and Yahweh, coming back to these ways, doing them to the best of your ability, trying to make it to the highest office a man can hold on this planet, which is a teacher in this truth. You are going to, if you don't live today, which is the period of opportunity, you're going to die an opportunist. As a 2/3, you are going to die right alongside these other nations. In America, you're going to die. You're going to get melted. The lake of fire is coming for you, all right? So let's go ahead and finish. This is Deuteronomy 28 in the Good News Translation, all right? Starting at verse 15, which again, the heading above 15 is the consequences of disobedience, all right? Hold on, I already need something else to drink. Hold on for a second. All right. Verse 15. But if you disobey the Lord your God and do not faithfully keep all his commands and laws that I am giving you today, all these evil things will happen to you. The Lord will curse your towns and your fields. The Lord will curse your grain, crops, and the food you prepare from them. The Lord will curse you by giving you only a few children, poor crops, and few cattle and sheep. The Lord will curse everything you do. If you do evil and reject the Lord, he will bring on you disaster, confusion, and trouble in everything you do, until you are quickly and completely destroyed. He will send disease after disease on you, until there is none of you left in the land that you are about to occupy. The Lord will strike you with infectious disease, with swelling and fever. He will send drought and scorching winds to destroy your crops. These disasters will be with you until you die. No rain will fall, and your ground will become as hard as iron. Instead of rain, the Lord will send down dust storms and sandstorms until you are destroyed. The Lord will give your enemies victory over you. You will attack them from one direction, but you will run from them in all directions. And all the people on the earth will be terrified when they see what happens to you. When you die, birds and wild animals will come and eat your bodies, and there will be none to scare them off. The Lord will send boils on you, as he did on the Egyptians. He will make your bodies break out with sores. You will be covered with scabs, and you will itch, but there will be no cure. The Lord will make you lose your mind. Damn. He was. Hold on. Verse 28. The Lord will make you lose your mind. He will strike you with blindness and confusion. Damn. That, hey, if that don't speak to you two-thirds coming against the men of the Lord lately, I mean, you've always been coming against the men of the Lord, but you and these different doctrines, man, switching up what the MOTB is, all right? Like like a like a bandwagon thing, like you jumping from team to team, and then got you saying Edomites are black people with red hair. What else? This shit is crazy that's going on lately, man. Let me read that again. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 28 in the Good News Translation. The Lord will make you lose your mind. He will strike you with blindness and confusion. You will grope about in the broad daylight like someone blind, and you will not be able to find your way. You will not prosper in anything you do. You will be constantly oppressed and robbed, and there will be and there will be no one to help you. You will be engaged to a young woman, but someone else will marry her. You will build a house, but never live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but never eat its grapes. Your cattle will be butchered before your very eyes, but you will not eat any of the meat. Your donkeys will be dragged away while you look on, and they will not be given back to you. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and there will be nothing, no one, or excuse me, and there will be no one to help you. Your sons and daughters will be given as slaves to foreigners while you look on. Every day you will strain your eyes looking in vain for your children to return. A foreign nation will take all the crops that you have worked for. Excuse me, let me start that all over. Verse 33. A foreign nation will take all the crops that you have worked so hard to grow, while you receive nothing but constant oppression and harsh treatment. Your sufferings will make you lose your mind. Damn. The Lord will cover your legs with incurable, painful sores. Boils will cover you from head to foot. The Lord will take you and your king to a foreign land where neither you nor your ancestors ever lived before. There you will serve gods made of wood and stone. In the countries to which the Lord will scatter you, the people will be shocked at what has happened to you. They will make fun of you and ridicule you. You will plant plenty of seed, but reap only a small harvest, because the locusts will eat your crops. You will plant vineyards to take care of them, but you will not gather their grapes or will eat the vines. Olive trees will grow everywhere in your land, but you will not have any olive oil, because the olives will drop off. Hmm. Hmm. You will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, because they will be taken away as prisoners of war. All your trees and crops will be devoured by insects. Foreigners who live in your land will gain more and more power, while you gradually lose yours. They will have money to lend you, but you will have none to lend them. In the end, they will be your rulers. All these disasters will come on you, and they will be with you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the Lord your God and keep all the laws that he gave you. For they will be the evidence of God's judgment on you and your descendants forever. The Lord blessed you in every way, but you would not serve him with glad and joyful hearts. So then, you will serve the enemies that the Lord is going to send against you. You will be hungry, thirsty, and naked, in need of everything. The Lord will oppress you harshly until you are destroyed. The Lord will bring against you a nation from the ends of the earth, a nation whose language you do not know. They will swoop down on you like an eagle. They will be ruthless and show no mercy to anyone, young or old. They will eat your livestock and your crops, and you will starve to death. They will not leave you any grain, wine, olive oil, cattle, or sheep, and you will die. They will attack every town in the land that the Lord God is giving you, and the high fortified walls in which you trust will fall. When your enemies are besieging your towns, you will become so desperate for food that you will even eat the children that the Lord your God has given you. Even the most refined man of noble birth will become so desperate during a siege that he will eat some of his own children because he has no other food. He will not even give any to his brother, or to the wife he loves, or to any of his children who are left. Even the most refined woman of noble birth, so rich that she has never had to walk anywhere, will have or will behave in the same way. When the enemy besieges her town, she will become so desperate for food that she will secretly eat her newborn child and the afterbirth as well. She will not share them with the husband she loves or with any of her children. If you do not obey faithfully all of God's teachings that were written in this book, and if you do not honor the wonderful and awesome name, okay, of the Lord your God, he will send on you and on your descendants incurable diseases and horrible epidemics that can never be stopped. He will bring on you once again all the dreadful diseases you experienced in Egypt, and you will never recover. He will also send all kinds of diseases and epidemics that are not mentioned in this book of God's laws and teachings, and you will be destroyed. Although, this is verse 62, although you become as numerous as the stars in the sky, only a few of you will survive, because you did not obey the Lord your God. Just as the Lord took delight in making you prosper and in making you increase in number, so he will take delight in destroying you and in bringing ruin on you. You will be uprooted from the land that you are about to occupy. The Lord will scatter you among all nations, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you will serve other gods made of wood and stone, gods that neither you nor your ancestors have ever worshipped before. You will find no peace anywhere, no place to call your own. The Lord will overwhelm you with anxiety, hopelessness, and despair. Your life will always be in danger. Day and night you will be filled with terror, and you will live in constant fear of death. Your hearts will pound with fear at everything you see. Every morning you will wish for evening. Every evening you will wish for morning. The Lord will send you back to Egypt in ships, even though he said that you would never have to go there again. There you will try to sell yourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will want to buy you. So again, that verse 68 in this translation tries to throw you off. You need foundation and a understanding, okay, to read that and get what it truly means. All right. So that was it for Deuteronomy chapter 28 in the Good News translation. The two previous videos were the reading of Deuteronomy 28 in the NLT, and then previous to that was the King James version. I don't know where the Spirit is going to go for the next video, all right? But whatever it is, it will be the Lord's will, okay? So with that, I'd like to say all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakaha Kwadash. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And shalom to the sincere, all right, the other sincere followers of this truth. Shalom.